Right, but to have an initial meeting, I mean, you could still hit before harvest if you ask them now, right?
Yeah, but if you ask, you know, what I'm saying is, I think it's gonna, we could suggest to have a meeting, but I think it needs to be, like the meeting we had last summer. It's, you know, it was very informative, but we need to have meetings closer together than that. You know, like if you get some people to come and say.
Right, they had them like 3 weeks apart last fall.
Yeah. So, that's just my opinion.
Just with the new guy, I thought it'd be good to have them, you know, review it, and I mean, the guys can all start reviewing on their own
That's
in their
true.
free time
That's true.
to bring stuff to the meeting. It's just, if you wanna wait till December, then you're pushing everything back till next spring, and without having any solar ordinance, they're pretty much free-for-all for whatever they want. They don't need to have building permits, since there's no ordinance saying they need to.
They can't do anything. It's like having a moratorium, is what I've been told.
See, I'm not sure how much I believe that, based on stuff I've heard in other counties.
But have you know it for a fact?
No, but,
Because I've been told.
okay.
I've been told, because I suggested earlier, maybe we should just put a moratorium on for a year.
I would like to do that too, but.
And, you know, I guess we still could, because I think we got enough going on.
I think that would cover you guys to, you know, absolutely be sure. I think that'd be a good plan.
Yeah, I've been I've been in favor of that from day one.
Well, you know, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And then that would give them time to look it over, especially with your new administrator, and then have the farmers more involved like you want. I know we already have our first draft out there, but yeah, I think the zoning commission would be a great resource to help you through your second draft, especially since Carlton's gone now. Yeah, moratorium would be a great idea. I'd be in favor of that.
Well, that's just my opinion.
I think
because I think there's so many things. If you don't, I have people telling me they don't want the CSR ratings to be involved. I have people that say they do.
Okay.
I've got people that say they want restrictions. I've got people that say they don't want any.
So the people that are telling you they don't want CSR ratings involved, there's only one person that came to that town meeting that said anything like that wasn't hired for them. So were they just unavailable to come to that meeting, or they didn't want to be involved in a public meeting?
I can answer that.
Okay.
I can't answer that.
I mean, CSR, I mean, that's just either if the county wants them or we don't, you know what I mean?
Well, the idea is to protect the really good land.
Well, then the other problem is your lower CSR is all the hills near Cloutier and Vining. That has the lower CSR because it's hilly and has a lot of trees, but you don't want to ruin that either and deforest half the county. I think a moratorium would give you time to have the board look it over and then still have you legally covered. I think that'd be a great idea.
I don't know how long this first reading or first ordinance is good for.
There's not much in that needs fixed. We were really happy with that when.
I was pretty happy with it, but then I got calls, and I know Bill said, we had the lower CSR rating.
Well, I still feel, I mean, you guys know my opinion. I've sent in a couple things. I still feel there are a lot of things that could have been added just to clarify, because it seemed very vague in places. And you don't want to be vague when you're talking about our land, and our land use. So, I mean, either way, you'd want to kind of clear it up so there's not as much ambiguity.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's gotta be touched up or finalized, but.
Yeah, because, there's kind of regulations right now on how the separation distances between the solar. But, to me, it's gonna be, it can't be decided in a half-hour meeting.
Right. So would you guys consider moving forward with putting the moratorium on an agenda soon? Or would that have to wait till December also?
I don't know. I'd like to wait.
Because I can request that too.
Yeah, well, I'd like to wait till after harvest and get more people involved.
Because if we wait too long because you want people involved, they could start building. I mean,
They can't build. They can't build.
Any lawyer would probably argue your lawyer's point. I mean, anything is arguable by lawyers.
Well, yeah, of course. One will tell you that's white, one will tell
if we wait too long, they're gonna claim vested rights or something, and then that would override whatever we've got for an ordinance or in process.
I do think, we need to get that ordinance up and running. But it's gonna be hard, Laura, to find middle ground with people.
That's,
You know, how do you come up with that?
Yeah.
you're not gonna make everybody happy, that's for sure.
That's right, but, it has to be some kind of middle ground.
Right.
It has to be, well, we want CSR, we don't. To me, as a farmer, there's a lot of questions out there. If you don't regulate this and you let entire farms go in, I've heard, and I don't know what they pay an acre, but I think it drives price of land up.
Oh, it's terrible, yeah, I mean,
That's my fear.
oh,
As a
absolutely.
farmer. Yeah, and I think every farmer ought to feel that way. Because they're really gonna be in competition for land.
Well, and I still think losing land to solar, losing ag land, it's gonna drop prices of crops, cause right now, they're already saying the price drops are due to, exports going through South America, cause it's cheaper down there and they have more available. I think if we lose more ag land, we're gonna lose more exports to South America
I
too.
don't think that would happen. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Just another factor to consider, I guess, but.
Well, the yields vary so much from year to year. And, we either export or make ethanol out of half our corn. So there's plenty there. But I don't know, I just really scratch my head and think how we're ever gonna come to any kind of middle ground. And if you got any ideas, I'm sure we'll listen.
Well, at least solar's gonna have a little more middle ground than wind, since nobody on the zoning board's got any solar easements, so that's helpful. But with having two people on the board now with wind easements, that makes it not very non-biased, like you guys were looking for, so I'm not sure how that's
Oh, I don't.
fair,
Is
but,
that mine?
I don't,
Oh,
well,
I mean, if you want it just to be yours,
Yeah.
sure.
Doug, Wade,
right,
they're both pretty much anti-wind.
right.
Okay, so.
But the
so
two
you-
people with wind easements can't vote on anything related to wind ordinances, so now you're down to your three people for voting on those anyway, cause they would have a clear conflict of interest, a monetary clear conflict of interest, those other two folks with easements.
I think
Short.
you need to mix.
Yeah, I went down
Okay.
to Elston and watched my nephew play volleyball
Anti-people.
on Saturday.
what?
But-
Well, I still think you could have found a pro person that didn't have an easement. I mean, wasn't that part of your interview process, was to ask about bias?
Yeah, they do that every
people
summer
that we
over
just
in,
put on the zoning board?
Yeah, one of them's got a signed wind easement. You didn't know that?
The port,
Which
Oh,
one?
okay.
The lady.
I mean, they just, Flatbush Water.
She got signed,
Yeah.
Dirty,
Yeah.
yucky.
Yeah.
It's-
Was not jealous of
She
it at
still,
all.
in an interview, said she could be,
I,
she looked both sides of the road.
Right, but she's also getting
not something I
paid
look forward to doing.
to have favorable wind,
Well,
she'd be getting paid if she had favorable wind ordinances.
to me, I think it's fair to have people pro and people.
Right, I can
If
see
you
that.
come- That's where you're gonna find your middle ground.
But she can't vote because she's got a conflict of interest, so then you're losing her anyway, right?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I saw the ISU ag website, ag decision maker, they've got the extension office has that pre-voting
I saw that.
checklist for conflict of
I still
interest.
got another win
And
last
I
night.
saw that some of your applicants had that from their interview. And so that would include any voting on the zoning board. That would be their conflict of interest. It would be voting for any
Made it work.
ordinance
That first-
changes. That would be a vote, and that would be a conflict of
Started at
interest
9.
with having a monetary
Bullshit
stake
got by
in it.
me in the third lap
So
already.
that would be something they should recuse themselves
I got
from
four.
because of
I
that
think it's a good
conflict.
night for us.
We'd have to look at that, but I think
No damage, that's the best thing.
because of Doug's feelings, and I think Doug's kinda, this is my personal opinion, I think he's anti-wind. But I think he is.
I think he's fair about looking at what it is for
That's
both
what I-
sides,
that's what I
despite his
think.
personal opinions.
So,
But he also doesn't have a monetary stake in it either.
Yeah,
You
well,
can be a little more fair when you're not having money pull at you.
I don't know, I think what we did was a fair way to handle it.
I still think it was wrong that you did not follow the gender balance, cause it,
Oh,
and then the next week you go and say, well, we have to follow the code strictly. It's like, well, you don't care about it the week before when you're skipping the gender balance.
I want a chair like this, Dan.
Right, but you're still not balanced.
Well, there's a lot of boards.
I didn't mean to run you over.
You
But
did.
what we decided was what we thought was right. And, you know, there again, you gotta find some middle ground. I think we got a good zoning board.
It
And I
stayed
think
up
you
there.
got- I think you got people.
Well, I think the gentleman would have been great if he would have replaced Craig since, but, you know, because
Oh, yeah.
I still think having somebody on the zoning board with a wind easement is a conflict of interest, so I think that would have been a problem. But Craig shouldn't have been reappointed anyway, because it says you can't reappoint someone if you're not gender balanced.
The heads,
Well, that's your-
things come out, I mean, we have them too.
Well,
but,
I mean, the code's pretty clear, and
fit
you
that
had
tight. I
some,
mean, they gotta
I
put
don't
the
think
helmets
we're,
right
I don't
now,
think we're,
Yeah, in here.
broke any codes.
you know,
Sure.
so.
I
I'm not saying I
disagree.
wanna do that, right?
Right.
I did a,
But we need to find some middle ground.
I did a five timer once in a hobby stock years ago, and that didn't have any
yeah, I still don't think
Leg
the
restraint,
gender
you know, 'cause
balance
they
code
got
where it
leg-
says you have 3 months to,
leg restraint.
you know, if you can't find a woman in 3 months, it's not if you can't
Yeah,
find a
so
woman you
fast.
don't like. It's if you can't find a woman at all, and you
Light,
had some,
dark,
so I
light,
think that's where
dark,
I'm
light,
catching
dark.
on the disagreement
It's
there.
gonna hurt tomorrow.
Yeah. My shoulder is about the only thing that hurt from my seat belt. That's the only big one I've ever.
So where are
done.
you going? You said you were gonna be
I
gone in a
don't
couple
need
weeks.
another one.
Well, my wife and I are going out to see her sister.
Oh, yeah?
She lives up in Connecticut, so we'll be gone for a few days.
Well, at least you'll be near a coast, it won't be as, you'll get that ocean breeze, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in long
We
sleeves
lost
today.
our.
I brought it though, it's
I was
here.
gonna say, with how cold it is
Probably put it
outside, I
on.
thought you would.
I'll probably put it on.
One slip. South St. when you and I?
No, they got pretty well.
They got cream, well, the freshman won, the freshman team won, they by like what, 2 or something, so good for them.
Who'd they play?
Rolling Story, wasn't it? But yeah, the varsity didn't do so hot.
I don't know.
Don't know what they'll have to do next week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Braxton runs his first cross country tomorrow, so I'm anxious for that.
All right.
Where's that at?
It's gonna be at Williamsburg.
Golf course, or do they have a?
Nope, it's out by their school, it's out in their backfields. He's been having knee issues, he's been taking PT for it, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he can finish.
Ooh, chilly in here.
Hi, Laura.
Good morning, how are you guys?
Got through the weekend.
Well, that's good, hopefully it's a good one. I wanted to mention to you guys too, I was going through the appointment book and updating it. And on the Board of Adjustment, Kurt Kelly, he expired the end of June. So now you're down 2 on the Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
So I don't know if you wanna reappoint him or not, just putting it out there, so he's been on there for a while, at least 1 term, maybe 2 terms, but.
It'd be all right to reappoint if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I think he's from Chelsea, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Just wanted to put that bug in your ear so you can
Okay.
think about that.
Okay. We'll wait till Bill gets back and
Yep.
discuss a little bit and let you know,
Okay,
but that's just my opinion. I think
yeah,
it'd
and
be-
I just noticed it, so I thought I'd tell you so you'd know before somebody else
Sure.
brings it up.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you can say, yes, we know, we're working on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be blindsided by that, huh?
I don't know if Michelle talked to you about this. The Rose guys are kinda talking about having to do their cell phone, so she sent this, did she share this with you?
Sure,
Okay.
yep.
And she was gonna send it to Tammy, and I was gonna touch base with Tammy to make sure she knows. We want her to look at that. Huh?
Good.
Yes, yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
Okay,
Are we gonna have to? Does he want to split totally from the county, is that?
it kinda sounds like it, yeah. And I'm like, boy, he's getting kinda, I know, this is with the landfill thing. I know he's getting very difficult to work with, and he likes to go by his rules, which, okay, that's fine, he's the department head, but I've always said ever since I became auditor, we shouldn't be doing their stuff. They're using us for payroll, they aren't paying us anything for doing their payroll, their claims, they're using our federal ID number, they're using our handbook. If there's something with one of their employees, that's gonna go through our insurance.
Well, if he wants to be
And if he
independent.
wants to, it sounds like he wants to be all on his own, do what he wants to do and not have to. And, you know, Tammy was just trying to, I don't remember right. She just did a search and found out that a couple of them don't have their CDLs or it needs to be updated, and he kind of went off on her because she brought it up.
Yeah, he went off on one other time about it,
Oh, did he? Okay.
because, but he said that they're not within a landfill,
Mhm.
but that really shouldn't be, you should leave it in ECD.
Mhm. Yeah, and they should follow the rules, so.
And that's not that big a deal to get one, cause
Yeah.
I've got one.
Yeah, yeah, so it's not, and let him go during work hours and
Yeah.
get it, so, yeah, I've always been of that opinion since I became auditor and understood how it worked.
But
I'm like, no, they get the advantage of it, but they aren't paying anything. And we're doing all their bookwork, our audit they're on our audit. They do their own audit also, but I mean, they're included because we oversee their funds on ours.
So, if he comes, they're working on a new handbook, you know that.
Oh, okay, they're separate one, I assume,
Separate.
yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So yeah, just do your own thing. And you guys can still be on the board, and the
We-
way it was explained to me way back when, and that was by Larry, was we wanna have some control over it, and if we do the bookwork, we have control over it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You guys are on their board, all three of you, so
Yeah, we
there's,
just represent the rural.
Yeah.
districts.
yeah, so,
I don't know what you think, Kurt, about this landfill situation, they're wanting to, be independent of the county, but they're still getting benefits from Forest, they'll, write checks.
What do you mean?
we do their payroll for them, we do all their.
Yeah, I mean, like,
But they aren't a Tama County business.
they're not right now.
No, they have their own tax ID number, but they use ours for payroll and IVers and,
So do they get our insurance benefits? So if they went on their own, they'd have to get their own insurance?
they pay a little more, premium, a little more than we do for being an outside entity, they, economic development do. But they're still on our insurance, and I don't know if they'd be on IFRS if they weren't covered by the county or not, I don't know.
I don't know. It kinda seems like Dave's going in that direction where he wants to,
Why do you think that is?
well, I think he just wants to be
Kind of
independent.
alluded to it.
But he
I
wants
mean,
to
if you don't
what he
think,
wants to do.
have to get your own insurance and might lose out on IPR, that doesn't make like,
Doesn't make a lot of sense
No.
for them. I mean, but, you know, they're writing their own handbook,
yeah.
and, you know, that goes to show you that they don't
Right.
follow
I was
county.
confused the other day that, who's writing it, or where's,
Their attorneys are writing.
Oh, their attorneys,
That's
okay.
my understanding.
cause we haven't seen it.
here.
at the board meetings, you know, I haven't seen nothing.
Right, so, you know, I think,
If he wants to do that,
I guess if he wants to do it.
is that a legal thing we'll have to go through?
Probably, so I assume we're in a 28E agreement with them. Research it a little bit, but I mean, it's been way before I was here that they were part of this. We did their stuff.
You sound like you've been here a long time. You sound like you're.
28 or 29 years.
So, but they don't get tax money, right?
No.
They just get pulled by the
They get
levy.
whatever you guys see, they levy from you guys, so like, I think right now it's like 100, I don't know for sure, I can't say.
But
I wanna say like 180,000 a year, you pay them twice a year,
So,
based on per capita.
yeah, so, and I think we need to be thinking about what we wanna do, because I don't think they're gonna start them by the handbook.
I can't remember, did he actually come in budget time? Did they? I mean,
No,
because, okay, so we.
They're been, no.
is it just, it's just a flat per diem, is it per?
Yes, and they have a budget that they give me, but it's not one that, is included in your total budget, it's a separate one, like economic development, 911, EMA, and assessor, they're separate. They file their budget with the state like those entities do, but then I get a copy of it, so that we know how to distribute their money.
We're not gonna lose out on anything, I don't know, and if that's the direction they wanna go, two entities are not upset. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that's kinda, if, you know, if he wants to
I,
drive his own bus, I said, we'll just let him drive it.
Well,
you
and-
gotta get a CDL for that, and that's hard, trust me.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, it's hard.
And you know, right now we have 3 unions, and that and the handbook, so in my office for claims and payroll, we have those 4 things to look at when we're looking at an employee.
Really?
And if we're gonna add another handbook from an
There's
outside
no-
entity, that's
They've
extra.
never had one before?
Well,
They've always
it
used
wasn't
ours,
for-
they adopted
it
ours,
wasn't.
and they went by ours, but now that he's finding things that he
They
doesn't
kinda,
wanna,
I don't know, they kept me off his
agree to,
email
he's
list
starting
after
to
I kinda
change
got
some.
on them, they turned guys.
Or I missed the beginning of that. What are you talking about with the outside handbook?
Well, Mr. Art, when you arrived, you've been here,
What are you guys talking about with the outside handbook and another 2080? Is that with the zoning or was that with the somebody? I missed the
it's
beginning.
with the
I
landfill.
think they
Landfill? Okay.
wanna put some kind of seal on it, where they stop filling the divots.
Did you go have coffee and cake yesterday?
Oh, yeah, gotta have cake.
I had some stuff I had to get done, so I just made my usual beeline out.
We gotta get something to fill in.
Kind of an interesting last.
Kinda
Polish it up.
put some stuff in and polish it.
Yeah. I don't know what you've heard, but-
Pots and stuff, and, Origin was worse, but now
Oh,
they got it
oh,
ground
well.
down and all that aggregate for
Like
explosives.
I've always said, I don't get attached to pastures. They come in,
Anyway,
Yeah,
The-
especially the recent
I've
ones.
been, I looked around this morning.
I know, I went through the line and shook his hand and I said, you know, now you're gonna give me a hard time, I gotta break in a new pasture going out to the cemetery for a few weeks. He just looked at it. Oh,
Mom says the new one at the Methodist Church is pretty nice.
yeah, that matters, she
I
seems
just, I
pretty
don't know, I
nice.
didn't know.
Older,
before
younger?
They're starting to separate.
I think younger. We just lost the last one due to retirement, so I'm pretty sure younger.
Younger than that.
Yeah. I don't know, I haven't met her, so.
Mid-40s, maybe late 40s.
on the safety line. that-
Seems like a real nice lady, so.
And-
That's what I
Well, we
grew up as,
keep
is Methodist.
those guys.
I know,
The church, Christie.
When they did that initial walkthrough.
They're not too different, I don't feel.
No.
I've gone to some Lutheran services.
Only wanted like 2 people out there.
It depends on what scale you're on. I mean, some are, of each are both, you know, more in one direction or the other, so.
I haven't been getting any emails.
I mean, in
nothing
Geyser,
on anything.
Lutheran and Methodist do so much together.
Dad told me this morning, like, yeah.
I think it's the amount of singing is the difference, right?
I'd say you kinda go.
30,
Safety issues. you need to
Mid-thirties
look
is
for.
probably a pretty good average for the Lutheran church last 6 months,
The set eyes that are.
year.
Yeah, it's not good.
One's got fire suppression, I mean, I.
And what's going on with the
I don't know
Sunday
if that
school? I mean, we used to
separate
have
those tanks or
50,
pumps, I
60
don't know.
kids.
Parents are lazy.
We're gonna have to
Mom
check
said
that.
WOW's usually pretty good, that after-school program they do, that's community and not just Methodist.
I sat there and watched
Uniform the way to put in.
Lindsay the other day, sat in front of us, they have
I don't have.
5 kids, and they're all like
Come on.
8th grade on down, and,
Somebody has uniform.
actually 7th grade on down, but to infants, you know, that poor woman, she.
That's
Well,
Oh,
I get, why do I wanna go to church in that situation, cause she didn't listen to
Don't
one
get
word.
anything out of it, kids are.
You know, and the kids,
Sometimes.
the kids don't get anything out of it either, you know, absolutely nothing, so it's like, I get that, I guess.
We did some stuff yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know, it sucks, cause even my own kids don't come.
I've been getting up a quarter after 4, and it's 10 hour shifts. They've been sleeping an extra hour now.
Oh, well, you'll get new sermons and now coming up.
Morning. One place they
Mhm.
put it in for and stuff.
I know, I'm the, what is it, 17th September. So you got an idea for a sermon, just haven't written it yet.
Who's doing it next week?
Pastor Johnson, I don't know if you remember him. His wife used to be our pastor years ago.
Oh, yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
been.
I think he's retired now, but I think he used to work with, well, no, it was just hospice. He's retired and he's just coming to fill in, so. And then I think Charla Raggi is the Tim. Bless your heart. And then Pat Hansen, 24.
So what's, does the higher ups do kind of the hiring or?
Well, the
Oh, yeah.
They just came from there.
Lay there 1, 2 in the morning going. You got it.
church survey.
7 days in front of my military. So, you know, Friday morning, I mean, it's.
I led
Damn, I said, I better take a look at it.
always during training, just go.
That's odd, because you think people in their churches.
But it's because they got so many churches that want pastors.
That's only every Monday.
And you go, and you can only move the cars again because I'm sad. Clean the turns out. Well,
And I think that, you know, they're gonna be, the young ones do come up, they're gonna be the unconventional ones nowadays, you know, which I don't mind,
There's nothing to do.
Oh my God.
I mean, you're not
I'm out there with the brake.
gonna get a Bobby old one. You had to go on so many
Your
years.
orders.
Where's the last time?
And he goes, I don't know if I have them.
So Dan,
Just whenever you get them.
Dan, was there any negotiation on the split for how much you pay for the 28-day agreement? Cause I feel like you guys got hosed.
So I don't. Cal.
So yeah, it should be like 75-25, shouldn't it? If the sanitarian job is 80 to 20 hours a week, that's half, that'd be 50% of it. And then you split the zoning and weed, that last 50% zoning and weed would be half would be marshal, half would be containment, that's 25-75.
He was there a long time.
I didn't know if there was any negotiation or why you guys thought
Oh, yeah.
6 was 40 fair.
That's a big from the past.
There's something about this, you just, we set up our.
It was interesting,
That agree with that.
they did.
Well, yeah, 'cause they're
redid
gonna-
the hallway, and they took all the pictures,
Okay.
I tried to last pictures, so.
Just for time worked, I would think you'd want to do it different.
I
Oh, I.
volunteered to put it back up because.
Did they end up giving him the car like you guys were?
Anyway, they were all dusty and dirty, so I cleaned all of them, you know,
He's down there working.
very
it out.
interesting.
Couple
But
weeks
it's
ago.
fun seeing
He's gonna be a real good guy.
people that you know.
Yeah, Chris said he's been to the classes with
diamond
him and
names.
stuff, so he thinks he'll be good for them too.
Think all the
Back in
bullshit I can put up with, is that enough money?
basically thirties, you know.
Depends on what it is.
You'd think there'd be a lot of diverse names back there.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, maybe that 40% would be for putting up with bullshit.
Yeah, think about it.
I enjoyed that. I'm not
I'm just
all up
saying.
either, I got upset because they didn't mark them when they took them down.
They couldn't pay us enough in our other jobs, could they?
The nitrogen steel ones from 89 was last year.
I don't know how good life was.
Started that.
I know, I know.
We got down to
I just started out when I was
65, and
18,
then
I didn't know no better.
And then after
Yeah.
that, they didn't even start fitting.
Jeannie Creek will
You
tell
know,
them about
they're
her
one's
that time.
huge.
So why
You guys started
why is
this
the public
when
hearing for the
Yeah.
redistricting so late today? Last week you had it at like 9:45 and there's less on the agenda. It just seemed like weird that it was at 10.
Public
I
hearing
told my
is
wife the other
usually
day, I
at
said,
10.
you know, I said,
And last week you just moved it up because we had 2.
I think the other ones are already scheduled.
Yeah, very interested in that.
Seems like there's gonna be a pretty big gap since there's nothing else on the
Same
agenda
as
today.
doing time, so
Hard to tell when we.
Yep.
Same.
You know,
So just because you usually have them at
I
10.
know better, but that's
the
cool.
phone was ringing the other night, it was the police department, I said, hey,
Yeah, I
what's
called-
up, kid?
talked to
Oh,
Kurt
just check
Alpers.
and see how you're doing.
Right.
Pretty good.
Chum, yeah.
I went
We
in his
had,
classroom and
we
he
had
asked,
a fire call.
well, this is that.
Right there.
Yeah. He said, I didn't think you'd probably be interested. I said, nah, 2 jobs are,
I'm walking back to get the story. I go, yeah, I used to do that shit.
It hasn't been much scheduling conflict.
Well, this way, what's the fire department was, I said,
I'm
I
enjoying
don't know, I
it.
said, it's pretty good. I said, I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Hey, Karen.
Still got 5 minutes.
Oh, she still has, Trevor, she's got 20 minutes. Doesn't start for another 20 minutes.
That's right.
You call me, I'll come
Well,
back.
you're early,
Staff
Fred.
went down.
Disqualifications and stuff, you know, have fun with you.
Missed a good one last week.
Went into
Last
just
week was your
something they
this
found.
was tired,
What?
So they replaced everything, all ceiling tiles, everything.
I kinda like that now, you go out to the farm.
And Young Plumbing and Heating,
That's business
they
day of the month coming
absolutely,
up.
they're gonna take all the big units, they're gone right now, they're not.
Yeah, that
First
job.
week in September, I think, the first one comes.
That goes on, is it?
Anyway,
No,
they think-
it seems like it is more and more complicated.
Well, they know it's late, they're through one of the units.
Well,
And
well, you're dealing
Talking about the mold.
with.
And they shut down, and then they got into the bathroom also, and they had problems with the air and the heat, and there was just no air moving for quite some time. I was talking to the board, and you know, that.
It's nothing like.
How are you?
Oh, this is old. Okay.
I know it's
Yeah,
old,
big
but
project.
this is when you
Bang.
end. It's promises. It's promises to all of us.
They painted the walls, new carpet,
On our nights off, we
and the auditorium got the new.
Everybody for breaks.
Is this from your personal collection or did you dig this up somewhere?
And then dug it out.
Okay.
Stage is a mess right now.
All this time went on, we couldn't.
Well, you never know what she's gonna come up with.
They didn't have it tear up the stage floor.
No, no. And then they took all the units out of,
Chances are, you
I
probably.
call it
We're
law,
gonna go
I
for a
guess.
few months, like, some of these.
In the back.
people,
Laura,
Back
you
to
got
stage.
family over there.
They're gone for 3-6 months.
There was, that
What
was
the hell's the deterrent?
Have
six,
you
I
lost
think,
any siblings
big,
or just your mom and
big
dad?
units up
Just my
there.
mom and dad,
Said I'd pay it back.
A
and
scrapper
then
that
dad's
works with,
sister Ruth.
She never did
works
say.
with,
But my
young
uncle
plumbing
Roger,
union
his
coming,
wife's
coming
still
on,
there,
they're
my uncle
stopping
Ron
around
is
there.
How many siblings are?
So it's empty up there.
Two
Fair
there,
Street.
and then I have an aunt.
We put some, Coach
Coach
Hogan wanted to put his ping pong tables up there.
Well, the
There
grill
were
dishes
16.
might not be what you like the best,
There'll
but.
be more storage.
Your mom and dad,
Yeah, that,
Damn good.
they weren't real old, were they, when they
it's a
passed?
mess.
My
I'm gonna
dad,
take
he's
off.
only
I
55.
was gonna guess he
Three or
was.
four fingers,
He
those
was
curtains.
55, mom was 73.
That kinda hide the lights.
Cause that's not very old.
No, it's not.
They're, they can clean up very well.
Yeah,
Those
and
are all
I have
nice
3
down.
younger brothers. We're all
Like some clean
I
company.
did, I
We're all in
was
Iowa.
The timeline when you said.
I like to sometimes read the
That one
Montreal
guy
news
that
to
was
see if there's any
18.
greens.
They're hoping a
in
month.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They are.
Yeah,
There is.
yeah.
So,
But he went, you know, he's.
about a month. they
Never
take.
any gyms in there though.
No, Jim.
Kids are like rope runners. Till they come here.
Till he comes here, your brother,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't say that. No, you just said Jim.
You just said Jim, sorry.
The new one, they don't like to be able to see.
Yeah,
it.
he's pretty
So now they got a
yes.
clear view and
I was so
they get treated.
engrossed in listening to the others, cause
I
they're
remember
doing
they-
such a
you know,
good job,
then
I
they-
forget to read them.
Karen,
So
did you
Joel
get the
Bergard
bargain?
and I took in.
Yeah.
You didn't look as stupid as
Yeah,
they did.
yeah, I'm glad I only paid $40 to get in.
Did you go to the sound of
I remember
freedom?
No, I did not go to the
Dancing
I've
Live?
heard it's really good.
Oh.
Oh, what did you
I've
say?
gone with women that called me 3 different times now, I didn't tell them each that I went, you know, I just said, sure, I'll go with you. Because, you know, somebody wants to go that alone.
Another hearing to try to get some.
Because when they say you see.
Sometimes, you know, you listen to that stuff and you think, well,
We're trying to get to it. And Trevor's gonna hold them back. I told her that at 4 years. It's your job.
We're
We don't care
hoping
about
on-
the rest of the state, just protect the Came account.
right now.
Until they get.
It's not very far from the new one.
Morning, David.
Go back down to 11 for you.
Good, you?
I don't believe it, they didn't tell us mine, you want to hear it.
Oh.
I remember the one that started, that was quite the
Yeah.
place too.
It'd be interesting to see if it cleans up.
I worked in there for over a year.
Really?
Yeah.
We were in San
I was
Francisco.
in most of it, but I don't even know if they got one.
What's the one there in San Francisco?
Alcatraz?
Alcatraz. Yeah, you can take tours of that. We didn't have time to go over.
Has your market stuff been going pretty well?
Last week was horrible because of the heat. We were only there for 45 minutes, and then we were going Tuesdays.
Walking between the cells.
I get nervous about people.
So I think we only had like 2 people. It was bad. Like even if they're eating kolaches, like usually there's never kolaches. I don't sell the kolaches.
It's in Dyson.
Yeah.
So tell me real quick,
Even this jail, there's things that go through here.
Yeah.
Really, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Little things, you know, here. and
Very,
there.
I don't think there was more than
Well, I.
a handful of us today.
Not really.
It is, but, yeah.
Well, like,
Oh. Aye.
You can find
Aye.
stuff back there.
Nay.
You guys check this every year.
I gotta.
They were really
I'll
stressed
do
that.
They want to charge somebody with some, putting somebody in the seat.
Yeah, you gotta be able to say, yeah, I checked it before and I checked it after. Well, it's kinda like you did. Like the radar
I was
stuff.
so-
And after
I know, I kinda like that too.
every stop. And
No, you didn't.
I did get asked, you
No, we'll
know,
see how
I
it
got
goes
asked
today.
once, well, have you ever found a problem? I said,
Trevor's
"Yes."
gonna stay here, so you hold down the fort. You see
Yeah,
how
the
the
fishing
And I
fish
said,
today?
"Well,
See
no, it's a
anything?
problem." So I said,
better have it.
"You know that-
Well, you're
Hey,
still up.
Might have been
How's
okay,
Davies
might not have,
doing?
but it didn't check
Good,
out
you?
right after.
Living the dream.
So it does happen once in a while. It was always good before.
Have you?
Going there. Nope.
Have you
Check
guys
it
talked
out from the beginning.
or heard about the FS and Dan Hart's on that stuff?
That, the New Century Plant just east of.
Oh, okay.
Out there.
Yep.
So,
I'd have the guys come
Tom
and
gave
check
him a
that
letter, and,
twice
you know,
a
it's
year.
ag doing ag stuff, and it shouldn't have really come to our purview or needed to. But state, I just got off the phone with Dan, state ag
Well, that's why we
department needs it to be in your meeting minutes and voted on to give them the okay. The main reason they're building this new facility out there east of 63, about a mile down from Van Wall, is to keep everything out of the city limits and it's further away. But he stated to me, because Todd gave him this letter saying you guys are good to go, it's ag land, you guys can do what you need to do. But, and as long as their setbacks and everything are good, but they still need to be in the public notice that the facility's going up. And they need to be voted on in the minutes. That you guys are aware of the situation and that you're okay with this facility being. So they started their work because they did purchase a but they'll need that to move forward with the okay from the state.
So we need to get that on the agenda for next week.
Move up there and listen to them.
Oh, wait.
Be nosy to them.
Reason is,
Yeah, because Bill will be back, yeah. But then are you leaving?
yeah, I'm after that, but I'll be here.
For image, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're thinking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because I'm-
yeah, I'll let Dan know, and I think that should be fine.
If that would screw you up, we can
Who's gonna be on the phone?
I'll be on the
Yeah,
phone
next week. Okay, I'll give him a call back later today and see what he thinks and then
Mike, on that,
let
Do
you
you
guys
have
know.
Laura's number? Do you have Laura's number?
Yes, yes.
I mean, if you talk to Dan and if you wanna get it on next week, I think that's fine, I mean, I'll be on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we can possibly do that. Okay, okay.
If you want, or we can do it.
Well, this screws me up, I just can't yell at, but that's okay. Not the first time, so, all right, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
They
Thank
pay
you.
that out over time then, or if they have
Those guys.
So where I think that was the, I don't know if Todd understood what
I
the
think
state
some of
was
those
from, they ordered some of that.
Okay.
And I did try to call your
Some
office.
Jackson right away with it.
Oh, okay.
Before I came.
Oh, okay, okay.
He needs, I guess I could've just.
I think some are doing like a deal
So
over 3
after
years.
I
so
got
they
the phone with
can-
them, they need to be in the town
Okay.
and they need to be voted on in our minutes.
On agenda.
Karen.
And that is all requirements coming from state in order for them to, as long as their setbacks and everything are good, but they have to know if it's in city limits, city council has to
Act on it.
act on it, and if it's outside, then the board of supervisors can vote on it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll go ahead and put it on the agenda whenever they want me to.
Perfect.
I have a question about that. Is that gonna change that to industrial zoning for that
No,
space?
it's still ag.
Okay, cause I saw that sign out there and I was wondering, cause I know a couple other places, I was looking at the zoning map and it's from 2014, but I was like, I wonder if that would change that.
No.
Since it'd be like Pioneer and Cortiva, I mean, they're technically ag, but they're light industrial, right?
Yes, but this one won't change that, not at all. Won't be an issue out there at all. And they have plenty of land, I think 18.5 acres.
Oh, they said that much?
Yeah, so they'll be able to set back there. If, the only other thing I looked at is that obviously increase a little bit of the road traffic, I'm assuming in that area. So not that it's a bad thing.
Right.
Just
This is not-
something that people might wanna be aware of.
Times of the year,
I don't know.
there's times of the year it'll be a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Putting,
Yeah.
Three different
plants,
By John Deere.
just east of it, about a mile.
How you doing, man?
Good, how about you?
Yeah, good.
So you wanna look at that number 4 again?
It wasn't even around, it was a whole different product.
What are they gonna start?
It was a cement floor, but it was more of a filler, like your, the biggest area that it used was, a good example, it was drains with water. So they patched it in.
That would be something
No,
the supervisors.
no, no, no.
do.
I worked it up.
Came out.
No, just have a seat, you're
So,
fine.
yeah.
It's losing heat, Jamie.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is.
Really?
You're gonna sit down, you're like.
Their situation is way worse than ours.
So that's kind of a plus.
Doing the whole thing in one day.
Not like 150%, but I.
Yeah, all the time. something.
I mean, I talked
There's a lot of
to Ben
traffic,
too, and I think
everything around there, so it's nice that they push through.
I don't know.
that's.
Those crops look a lot.
No, they're not. It's not gonna fill for his
Same side of the road, same side of the road, yeah, I mean,
Not at all. The grinding, what they did, what he did.
Plants total.
out there.
So, and one of the pluses,
Now, they did that much grinding, they're gonna have to see it, some sort, but this last stuff,
you know,
So I had,
because the budget's been
Kimber
You know, we plant our one season.
website,
Crazy things
do
still.
an application.
Usually when stock boards get in there.
I've seen.
Sit there, build a page. And then, so,
We've had all kinds
if you
of.
wanna be a commissioner, then you apply
Is
over there.
everything out there?
now, we did one.
That's worth it, right?
Probably a little bit more money in time too, I never thought about that.
And then there were some
Using
things that.
product like that, that seal that.
That's brand new building.
Yeah.
Maybe spent harder.
But I mean, a lot of them are.
It's gonna go.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Of course, that's organic.
And then,
Unless they have an ulterior.
you guys were.
Yeah.
See how
You know, like.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Kind of like late.
Yeah, they're just late, you know. Get them as they're coming up, so you get.
Got my phone, I can run and get it.
No, there's a little method to it, that
Unless you.
kinda gets better.
Well, you get what, together.
Yeah, you get this, yeah.
But not about the yield.
The sealer.
Well, they're little.
Not enough dollars.
Name.
You gotta mark it in a certain places, like down Cedar Rapids.
See, like this, it's, in my place, it's the second year, so then after that, it can be.
Yeah.
I forget where that is.
And then, like, we decided that one meeting.
He's got a couple big
I was
ones.
like, if you really want to split the cost and let me do it, but they're.
I'm not sure how he does that,
They're
he just
just
likes
trying
to
to get
market
people to
for it.
what they're doing.
I know.
I never asked him about it there.
Those
See, you got
first
other
two spots that they tested.
Oh, yeah.
Not at all, I mean, those were sealed.
Of course, like his, that's.
Now, this last one, then showed a picture where it actually make it a little like a lighter gray. It had its color.
He used to dump.
I didn't see it. And then
More
there
than
was
somebody
something
else's
else.
combine.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I was on there this morning, I saw it ground.
Bushels.
That way
you're sure to.
the stuff that says.
Yeah, they
just
can.
have
Yeah, Pat,
everything that they're gonna have in the shop, you get on the floor.
yeah, you think those guys would know.
Well, this is going, well, I'll tell you what, it just, that's amazing. Already started.
Not we do business.
I noticed in the minutes,
What?
No, I know, today, when we got getting
I
there.
didn't have, they put down the
Oh,
motion.
it's down here.
Yeah, silver dollars. And then we gotta see the.
Those guys are professionals, they know what. Let's go, let's get it done. It's gonna cost you $10,000 more, and you're gonna split it 3 ways.
Just think of how far
I'm
we
sorry.
Then it was to the public hearing.
No, this is for the public hearing,
Go in and.
and the resolution after.
That was theirs.
That's my very favorite.
They have
Yeah. Brand, oh, we got documents. Gary, we got documents, I saw, I mean, I don't mean shit, you can write down different.
I like being able to take a line.
Sure, big deal.
And that's
That sounds like fun.
Alright, I guess I'm in charge again today, so we'll start the meeting with the pledge of allegiance.
So my mother-in-law is Wendy.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.